The three Pashas became very powerful in the last period of the Ottoman Empire and had the power to rule the Ottoman Empire. Thanks to the power they gained in the country's domestic and foreign politics, they made many bureaucratic and diplomatic decisions. Enver and Cemal Pasha were of military origin, while Talat Pasha was of lower origin. What brings the three Pasha together is the Young Turk Operation, the Committee of Union and Progress, or in other words, İttihat ve Terakki, and the 31 March Rebellion. Enver Pasha, the youngest among them, became the Minister of War, that is, the Chief of the General Staff, after the Babeli raid. Talat Pasha, on the other hand, became one of the influential names in the country's domestic politics by serving as the Minister of Internal Affairs and Grand Vizier, or in other words, Sadrazam. Cemal Pasha was also influential in diplomacy by serving as Minister of Foreign Affairs. One of the interesting things that the three Pashas did in their government was that they dismissed soldiers and some politicians. After this, they paved the way for some people who would later be influential in Turkish politics, such as Mustafa Kemal. Additionally, some of their decisions, such as participating in the First World War, led to the collapse of the Ottoman Empire. The ideas they advocate are Ümmahism, Turkism, and Ottomanism.
The rise of the three Pashas, Enver, Talat, and Cemal, occurred at a dire time of the empire, when declining Ottoman Empire was grappling with internal dissent and external pressures. Emerging from the Young Turk movement that sought to modernize and reform the empire, these leaders drew strength from growing discontent with Ottoman society and the military. Their rise to power Sultan II Abdülhamit, it was facilitated by the Young Turk Revolution of 1908, which forced Second Abdülhamit to reintroduce the constitution and ushered in a period of political liberalization. Amid the resulting power struggles, the three Pashas reached influential positions with the Committee of the Union and Progress. The dominant political party of the period, the Sublime Portrait in 1913, consolidated their power. They staged a dangerous coup at the heart of the political and military structure of the Constantinople. Seizing control of the Sublime Porte, the symbolic center of the Ottoman government, this coup effectively sidelined their rivals and ensured the Pasha's grip on power. The raid revealed not only the three Pashas' willingness to use force to achieve their goals, but also the atmosphere of the political intrigue and uncertainty that pervaded the empire. During this period, the Ottoman Empire found itself increasingly isolated from the world's political scene. It faced increasing pressure from the rival European powers and struggled with the destructive force of nationalism and ethnic conflict within its borders. In this context, the three Pashas tried to assert their authority and implement their vision for the future of the empire. They centralized power within the CUP, silenced dissenting voices, and pursued policies aimed at modernizing the state and consolidating control over various populations. However, their authoritarian rule and aggressive pursuit of expansionist goals would ultimately contribute to the collapse of the empire. In the beginning of the First World War, the influence of the three Pashas reached its peak. They aligned the Ottoman Empire with the Central Powers, hoping to secure territorial gains and strengthen their own position. However, his military adventures would end in disaster, leading to defeat on many fronts and worsening the empire's economic and social woes, bringing it to the brink of the collapse. Despite their efforts to climb the power, the three Pashas were pushed aside after the war, sowing the seeds of the empire descent into chaos and disintegration. The three Pashas undoubtedly show us how important they are to our history, by incredibly influencing an empire that spanned three different continents for the centuries.
Three Pashas, which are Enver Pasha, Talat Pasha and Cemal Pasha, played important roles in the Ottoman Empire's participation in the First World War, each leaving a distinctive mark on the course of the conflict and its aftermath. World War I started on July 28, 1914 and ended on November 11, 1918. Serving as Minister of War, Enver Pasha emerged as an ardent advocate of the Ottoman Empire's alignment with the Central Powers, especially Germany. However, Germany was hesitant on this issue. Enver Pasha's ambitious military strategies aimed to restore Ottoman prestige, but often ended in costly failures, especially the ill-fated Caucasus operation and the disastrous Sarıkamış offensive of 1914, in which thousands of Ottoman soldiers lost their lives in harsh winter conditions. Enver Pasha also believed that the Russians would try to take over eastern Anatolia by taking advantage of the current situation. Talat Pasha, one of the leading figures of the Committee of Union and Progress, wielded significant political influence and became the de facto ruler of the empire. Meanwhile, Cemal Pasha's role as military governor of Syria and Palestine positioned him at the forefront of Ottoman efforts in the eastern Mediterranean. His leadership was notable for his attempts to modernize the administration and infrastructure in the region, but also included harsh measures to suppress nationalist uprising, including mass deportation and reprisals against Arab populations suspected of supporting the Allies. Cemal Pasha directed important military operations throughout the war. Despite their different roles and approaches, the legacies of these three pashas are intertwined with the decline and dissolution of the Ottoman Empire, because his policies and actions contributed to the eventual collapse of the empire and the redrawing of borders in the Middle East. The Ottoman success in the war was limited and there were great losses in the war. Failure in war strategies led to the collapse of the empire, and Mustafa Kemal Atatürk started the War of Independence.
In summary, the three pashas tried to make best decisions under the conditions of these periods. Thanks to their policies within the Committee of Union and Progress, they helped strengthen some of the leaders who would lead the establishment of the Republic of Turkey. Apart from some conflicts of interests, the three pashas made some decisions that could be considered partially successful according to the conditions of these periods. They tried to prevent the collapse of an empire that was already about to collapse, but they were not successful. Enver Pasha helped Mustafa Kemal by receiving Bolshevik support at the beginning of the Turkish War of Independence. In the letters he wrote to his wife, he often mentioned that Mustafa Kemal went to Anatolia and needed help and said that he should help his wife. He went to the Caucasus and got into some conflicts to establish the ideal Turkish Islamic Union he always dreamed of. He died for this cause, but was accused of being a traitor in his country. Talat and Cemal Pashas never benefited from the privileges given to them and were killed in misery as a result of assassinations. We can't understand from this first sentence of the statement given by Celal Bayar, the former president of the Republic of Turkey, while he was on trial after the 16th coup, that the Union and Progress was not just a political party, but an inspiration from the young Turks. Do not forget that. First of all, I am a member of the Union and Progress.